हेलो दोस्तों, वेलकम अगेन इन माय चैनल शाइनिंग ब्रेन। आज हम एनसीईआरटी का क्लास 7 चैप्टर नंबर 10 को पढ़ेंगे। चैप्टर का नाम है रेस्पायरेशन इन ऑर्गेनिज्म। नाउ लेट्स स्टार्ट। One day, Bojo was eagerly waiting to meet his grandparents who were coming to the town after a year. He was in a real hurry as he wanted to receive them at the bus stop. He ran fast and reached the bus stop in a few minutes. He was breathing rapidly. His parents asked him why he was breathing so fast. Bozo told her that he came running all the way. But the question got stuck in his mind. He wondered why running makes a person breathe faster. The answer to Bozo's questions lies in understanding why we breathe. Breathing is a part of respiration. Let us learn about the respiration. 10.1 Why do we respire? In chapter 2, you learn that all organisms are made of a small microscopic units called cells. A cell is the smallest structural and functional unit of an organism. Each cell of an organism performs certain functions such as nutrition, transport, excretion, and reproduction. To perform these functions, the cell needs energy. Even when we are eating, sleeping, or reading, we require energy. But where does this energy come from? Can you say why your parents insist that you should eat regularly? The food has stored energy which is released during respiration. Therefore, all living organisms respire to get energy from food. During breathing, we breathe in air. You know that air contains oxygen. We breathe out air which is rich in carbon dioxide. The air we breathe in is transported to all parts of body and ultimately to reach each cell. In the cells, oxygen in the air help in the breakdown of the food. The process of breakdown of food in the cell with the release of energy is called cellular respiration. Cellular respiration takes place in the cells of an organism. In the cells, the food glucose is broken down into carbon dioxide and water using oxygen. When breakdown of glucose occurs with the use of oxygen, it is called aerobic respiration. Food can also be broken down without using oxygen. This is called anaerobic respiration. Breakdown of food release energy. Here is the equation. Glucose in the presence of oxygen makes alcohol plus carbon dioxide plus energy. You should know that there are some organisms such as yeast that can survive in the absence of air. They are called anaerobes. They get energy through anaerobic respiration. In the absence of oxygen, glucose breaks down into alcohol and carbon dioxide as given below. Again, glucose in the absence of oxygen gives alcohol plus carbon dioxide plus energy. Yeast are the single-celled organism. They respire anaerobically and during this process yield alcohol. They are therefore used to make wine and beer. One muscle cells can also respire anaerobically but only for a short time. When there is temporary deficiency of oxygen during heavy exercise, fast running, 10.1 cycling, walking for many hours or heavy breath lifting, the demand for energy is high but the supply of oxygen to produce the energy is limited. Then anaerobic respiration takes place in the muscle cells to fulfill the demand of energy. Glucose in the absence of oxygen makes lactic acid plus energy. Figure 10.1. During exercise, some muscles may respire anaerobically. Have you ever wondered why you get muscles cramp after heavy exercise? The cramps occur when muscle cells respire anaerobically. The partial breakdown of glucose produces lactic acid. The accumulation of lactic acid causes muscle cramps. We get relief from the cramps after a hot water bath or a massage. Can you guess why it is so? Hot water bath or massage improves circulation of blood. As a result, the supply of oxygen to the muscle cells increases. The increases in the supply of oxygen result in the complete breakdown of the lactic acid into carbon dioxide and water. 10.2 Breathing. Activity 10.1 Caution: do not do this activity under the supervision of your teacher. Close your nostril and mouth tightly and look at the watch. What did you feel after some time? How long were you able to keep both of them closed? Note down the time for which you could hold your breath. Figure 10.2. So now you know that you cannot survive for long without breathing. Breathing means taking in air rich in oxygen and giving out air rich in carbon dioxide with the help of respiratory organ. The taking of an air rich in oxygen into the body is called inhalation, and giving out the air rich in carbon dioxide is known as exhalation. It is a continuous process which goes on all the time and throughout the life of an organism. The number of times a person breathes in a minute is termed as breathing rate. During breathing, inhalation and exhalation take place alternately. A breath means one inhalation plus one exhalation. Figure 10.2 Holding breath. Would you like to find out your breathing rate? Do you want to know whether it is constant or it is changed according to the requirement of oxygen by the body? Let us find out by doing the following activity. Activity 10.2. Generally, we are not aware that we are breathing. However, if you try, you can count your rate of breathing. Breathe in and out normally. Find out how many times you breathe in and breathe out in a minute. Did you inhale the same number of times as you exhaled? Now count your breathing rate, number of breaths per minute, after brisk walk and after running. Record your breathing rate as soon as you finish and also after complete rest. Tabulate your finding and compare your breathing rate under different conditions with those of your classmates. From the above activity, you must have realized that whenever a person needs extra energy, he or she breathes faster. As a result, more oxygen is supplied to our cells. On an average, an adult human being at rest in and out 15 to 18 times in a minute. During heavy exercise, the breathing rate can increase up to 25 times per minute. While we exercise, not only do we breathe fast, we also take deep breath and thus inhale more oxygen. It speeds up the breakdown of food and more energy is released. Does this explain why do we feel hungry after a physical activity? When you feel drowsy, does your breathing rate slow down? Does your body receive sufficient oxygen? Activity 10.3. Figure 10.3 shows the various activity carried out by a person during a normal day. Can you say in which activity the rate of breathing will be slowest and in which it will be the fastest? Assign numbers to picture in the order of the increasing rate of the breathing according to your experience. Here this is the figure shown 10.3 variation in the breathing rate during different activities. Paheli wants to know why we yawn when we are sleepy or drowsy. How do we breathe? Let us now learn about the mechanism of breathing. Normally, we take in air through our nostril. When we inhale air, it passes through our nostril into the nasal cavity. From the nasal cavity, the air reaches our lungs through the windpipe. Lungs are present in the chest cavity, figure 10.4. This cavity is surrounded by ribs on the sides. A large muscular seat called diaphragm forms the muscles of the chest cavity, figure 10.4. Breathing involves the movement of the diaphragm and the rib cage. During inhalation, ribs move up and outward and diaphragm moves down. This movement increases the space in our chest cavity and air rushes into the lungs. The lungs get filled with air. During exhalation, ribs moves down and inward, while diaphragm moves up its former position. This reduces the size of the chest cavity and air is pushed out of the lungs. Figure 10.5. This movement in our bodies can be felt easily. Take a deep breath. Keep your palm on the abdomen. Feel the movement of abdomen. What do you find? After having learned that during breathing there are change in size of the chest cavity, children got involved in the chest expansion competition. Smoking damages lungs. Smoking is also linked to cancer. It must be avoided. Everyone was boasting that he or she could expand it the maximum. How about doing this activity in the class with your classmates? Here figure 10.4 shows the human respiratory system. It shows the nasal passage, then it goes to the pharynx, trachea, lungs, ribs and diaphragm. The air around us has various types of unwanted particles such as smoke, dust, pollen, etc. When we inhale, the particles get trapped in the air present in our nasal cavity. However, sometimes these particles may get past the hair in the nasal cavity. This may irritate the lining of the cavity, as a result of which we sneeze. Sneezing expel these foreign particles from the inhaled air and a dust-free clean air enters our body. Take care. When you sneeze, you should close your nose. We should cover your nose so that the foreign particles you expel are not inhaled by the other persons. Activity 10.4. Take a deep breath, measure the size of the chest and with a measuring tape, figure 10.6, and record your observation in table 10.2. Measure the size of chest again when you expand and indicate which classmate shows the maximum expansion of the chest. We can understand the mechanism of breathing by a simple method. Figure A, inhalation. Air is drawn in, ribs moves out and diaphragm moves down. 10.5b, exhalation. Air force out, ribs moves back and diaphragm moves back. To understand the expansion of the lungs, pull the rubber sheet from the base downward and watch the balloons. Next, push the rubber's plastic sheets up and observe the balloons. Did you see any change in the balloons? What do the balloons in this model represent? What does the rubber sheets represent? Now you should be able to explain the mechanism of breathing. 10.4. What do we breathe out? Activity 10.6. Take a slender, clean chest tube or a glass plastic bottle, make a hole in its lid and fix it on the bottle. Pour some freshly prepared lime water in the test tube. Insert a plastic straw through the holes in the lid in such a way that It dips in lime water. Now blow gently through the straw a few times. Figure 10.8. Is there a change in the appearance of lime water? Can you appearance of the Can you explain this change on the basis of what you learned in chapter 6? You are aware that air we inhale or exhale is a mixture of gases. What do we exhale? Do we breathe only carbon dioxide or a mixture of gases along with it? You must have also observed that if you exhale on a mirror, a film of moisture appears on its surface. From where do these droplets come? Bojo wants to know how much air a person can hold in the lungs. Here figure 10.7 shows the model to show mechanism breathing. Breathe for better life. Regular traditional breathing exercise pranayama can increase the capacity of lungs to take in more air. Thus, more oxygen can be supplied to the body cells, resulting in release of more energy. Here figure 10.8 effect of exhaled air on lime water. The percentage of oxygen and carbon dioxide in inhaled and exhaled air is 21% oxygen, 16.4%. इनहेल्ड एयर में 21% ऑक्सीजन होता है एंड 0.04% कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड एंड एक्सहेल्ड एयर में 16.4% ऑक्सीजन एंड 4.4% कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड. 10.5 ब्रीदिंग इन other animals. Animals such as elephants, lion, cow, goat, frogs, lizards, snakes, birds have lungs in their chest cavities like the human beings. How do other organisms breathe? Do they also have lungs like those of the human beings? Let us find out. Cockroach. A cockroach has a small opening on the side of its body. Other insects have also similar openings. Bojo wants to know if cockroach, snail, fish, earthworm, ant, and mosquito also have lungs. These openings are called spiracles. Figure 10.9. Insects have a network of air tubes called trachea for gas exchange. Oxygen-rich air rushes through spiracles into the tracheal tubes, diffuses into the body tissue, and reaches every cell of the body. Similarly, carbon dioxide from the cell goes into the tracheal tubes and moves out through spiracles. These air tubes on trachea are found only in insects and not in any other group of animals. Figure 10.9 Tracheal system. Earthworm. Recall from chapter 9 of class 6 that earthworm breathe through their skin. The skin of earthworm feels moist and slimy on touching. Gases can easily pass through them. Though frogs have a pair of lungs like human beings, they can also breathe through their skin, which is moist and slippery. Bozo has seen in television programs that whale and dolphin often come up to the water surface. They even release a fountain of water sometimes while moving upwards. Why do they do so? Figure 10.6 breathing underwater. Can we breathe and survive in water? There are many organisms which live in water. How do they breathe underwater? You have studied in class 6 that gills in fish help them to use oxygen dissolved in water. Gills are projections of the skins. You may wonder how gills help in breathing. Gills are well supplied with with blood vessels. Figure 10.10 for exchange of gases. 10.10 breathing organ in fish. Figure 10.7. Do plants also respire? Like other living organisms, plants also respire for their survival, as you have learned in class 6. They also take in oxygen from the air and give out carbon dioxide. In the cells, oxygen is used to break down glucose into carbon dioxide and water as in other organisms. In plant, each part can independently take in oxygen from air and give out carbon dioxide. You have already learned in chapter 1 that the leaves of the plant having tiny pores called stomata for exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Like all other living cells of the plants, the roots cells also need oxygen to generate energy. Roots take up air from the air specks present between the soil's particle. Figure 10.11. Root absorbs air from the soil. Can you guess what would happen if a potted plant is overwatered? In this chapter, you learned that respiration is a vital biological process. All living organisms need to respire to get the energy needed for their survivals. Now, keywords: aerobic respiration, diaphragm, inhalation, anaerobic respiration, exhalation, spiracles, breathing rate, gills, trachea, cellular respiration, lungs, and ribs. This is the end of the chapter number 10. In the next video, I will explain the chapter number 11. तब तक के लिए थैंक यू.